Hello and welcome back to another episode of Vikings Happy Hour, sponsored by Lake Monster Brewing and That's Badass Wood Art. Remember to use promo code CTPocket on that'sbadasswoodart.com for 20% off any one item on their store. This week is the NFL Combine, so Ryan and I thought it'd be a good idea to get together and do a little pre-combine mock draft. So that's what we got for you. We're going to do some trades, maybe even trade some players to get some extra draft capital. So let's dive right into it. Are you ready, Ryan?
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I love
I'm
doing
too.
these things.
So we can pick the Vikings. I'm not going to mess with the settings. We'll keep it at 7 rounds. All right, so let's get the first one out of the way.
Cool.
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. All right.
What?
So we were talking like value of this, right?
Right.
Pre-show. Gosh, I don't know if we can get a ton for him. So I know like some people are in the mindset that we can get like a third, maybe a second. I think he's like 14 million or no, 11 million, right? I think he's 11
11
million.
mil.
Yeah,
I
so he's
I think a
11
third round's
million.
reasonable.
Yeah, and I mean he did rush for 1,000 yards, but you can tell he's lost a step or two. Um, my guess, just given the or the running back market that's going to be in free agency, added to the relatively strong draft in terms of quality running backs in the draft,
Mm-hmm.
my guess is fourth at best. A fourth round pick at best is probably what we're going to fetch for him.
So what
I
what
could be wrong.
what teams are you thinking? Because obviously, like the first one that comes to mind for me is the Miami Dolphins. Obviously,
Yeah.
Cook's a Miami native. They have some cap flexibility still on their roster, so they could probably absorb that a little bit more. So that'd be my first thought. I've heard the Buffalo Bills as a name to really kind of help them get pushed over the hump there.
Yeah, well, the Bills are losing Singletary, and
Yep.
similar to that, the Dolphins, I think, are losing both Mostert and Wilson, both guys that they had on roster this last year. So both are needs. I would probably say Miami makes a little bit more sense, just because of the cap
Do it.
situation.
Let's do it.
So Miami, I think the only question is, do they have a pick late enough where I feel like
84 is like
end of
round
third?
3, pick 20 something.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say that's fine, but we're probably gonna have to give something back, like that
Well,
160 or 177 or
well,
something.
they say it'll be accepted, but I
Of
agree
course
with
they
you.
do, but
I
I just
agree with
I
you.
just don't I can't imagine he's gonna fetch more than a fourth unless we put capital in with it. So, but this isn't getting us additional capital. This is why don't we do a future like yeah,
6th. All right.
yeah.
I can get behind that. Miami with a bullet. They take it. Dalvin Cook's gone.
Cool.
We're done with him. No more shoulder injuries. No more overpriced running backs. It's a new era of Vikings football. For the first time in however long, no overpriced running back on the
Yep.
team.
And
So
then so we can and we can attack this draft with like, all right, maybe we already signed a guy in free agency. Like maybe we brought Alexander Madison back, right?
yep.
We'll kind of see how the board falls.
All right. Well, then let's dive in. We're going to start the draft. First off the board, Will Anderson. We're going to kind of keep an eye on it because we want to make sure if we want to jump for a quarterback, we can. 2 are off the board.
Yeah, if like Richardson or
Oh,
Levis
I didn't want to stop it
falls,
there. All right. So here we're at. Levis is likely the last quarterback there. What is the range where you would want to move up for him?
I don't think I want to personally.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of
And
him.
well, he went at 8.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. My goal is I guess I would trade up for him if the team feels like he's worth it, you maybe try to swap with the Texans to get ahead of the Jets who may be in the market. I think they're looking for more of a veteran anyway, but
Yeah.
they might dip back in, who knows. So that's a good landing spot for us to potentially trade up. I think I'm only doing that if it's Young, Stroud, or Richardson.
So let's
Personally.
look at the trade offers here first. There are a few teams that are interested in trading with us. The Chiefs. Is it showing for you?
Yep, it is. Yep.
Okay. Chiefs, Panthers, Browns, Jets, and Patriots. Those are the the 5 teams that are willing to trade up.
I
We look
think
at
I actually I like some of those teams in a trade up scenario just because they have some capital where we don't have to go too far back with the Chiefs and the Panthers,
mhm.
and we can get either a late second or early third in return there.
Okay.
So I would take a look at either one of those trade options just because I think there's going to still be a high like once you get past pick. I haven't done the full research on this, so don't quote me, I guess, but top 15 or so, maybe 18 players are like going to be that like top tier. And then I think there's a good brevy of talent
Yeah.
between, yeah, that 15 to 18 all the way to like, I don't know, 65. So if you can
Yeah.
get 2 picks out of that, I would definitely try to do that.
Well, let's start with the Chiefs then, because ideally, in a perfect world, we're staying in the first round. Um, I still think that the fifth-year option is really important, to potentially be taking a player there, and it just helps with decisions down the road. So, let's start with the Chiefs. Obviously, we're not gonna just trade that. I don't have the trade chart up next to me, but I feel like asking for 63 is too much. They don't think it's horrible.
What's the likelihood there? I can't see
It's
it.
45% likelihood.
Okay.
So maybe we give them something back.
Yeah, I would say our threshold should be at least a 50-50 chance that they accept before we even submit it.
You want to offer on just that?
No, I like I said, I think it should at
Oh,
least be over that 50% mark. So
got
even
it.
like adding
Got it.
160 into it and to see if that sweetens it up to
62%. Let's give it a whirl.
yeah. I mean, again, I don't know how likely this is. We
Idiots.
didn't we didn't do like the draft chart, Rich Hill chart or whatever, but whatever.
We're,
This is a
we're
mock draft. We're having fun. Maybe the Chiefs really want whoever they're going to get. So
they really wanted Nolan Smith.
I mean, hey, I like him, so I get the affinity and why they'd trade up for that. So
And now the Vikings are going to get to round out the first round of the draft with a bunch of day 2 picks as well.
yeah,
So here we
that's
are.
perfect. Awesome. So a lot of talent left on the board. Deonte Banks, definitely somebody I've had my eye on. Now I'm in the camp that doesn't think that a first round corner or our first pick needs to be a corner. With that being said, if we went away with getting this trade back scenario and getting Deonte Banks, I'd be ecstatic. I think he is the definitely a type of player that you would want on this team in Brian Flores' defense. Very aggressive. I think in college he did a lot of off man, if I remember correctly. I have to watch more on his tape to be honest, but he's a very aggressive by nature, and that's what Flores says he wants, right? So that's somebody that's definitely in consideration here.
I think when we're looking at just the whole draft in general and knowing we have 3 day 2 picks, I'm more comfortable pulling the trigger here on Banks because it's a premium position. Some other guys that I'd probably consider though, is Will McDonald here.
Big fan.
That's somebody I might consider at pick 31. Uh, you go down the line a little bit more. I know you're a big Forbes guy. Um,
I do like Forbes. I also like Thule right below him.
yep,
Granted, I don't think I'd like them at what
31.
are we at 32? But I'm a big fan. Um, Maisie Smith there that we just went
Yep.
scrolled past. Big body nose tackle. I actually just
Yes.
made a comment on him. Russ Brown put out a tweet that people are sleeping on him, and I agree. Um,
He's a big
Big nose
boy.
tackle would will fill that void technically. I mean, I know Harrison Phillips technically is in that spot right now,
Yeah.
but I think Harrison Phillips is probably more of a D end in a 3-4 scenario, and I think Smith would be a great filler in that, and can provide really strong run support, but also some just brute strength pass
Yep.
rush. Like I don't think he's necessarily going to be a sack machine, but he's going to push the pocket up quite a bit.
For
So
sure, for sure. I think I do like that him as a prospect. I don't love him at 31. I
yeah.
think for me, and I'll leave it up to you, I'm between Deonte Banks and McDonald here at 31. I think you can't go wrong with either of them.
I agree. I'm big on Deonte Banks. Again, I need to watch some more film on him, but from what I've seen, the limited exposure I have had, I've been a really big fan. And cornerback is a really big need, and he fits the profile that Brian Flores' defenses usually go with. So
Let's go. Deonte Banks, welcome to the Minnesota Vikings.
love it.
I'm going to speed things up just a little bit, but we'll keep an eye on it.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm no stranger to trying to trade up. If you have a guy that a cornerback that you're interested in, or not a corner, I'm sorry, a wide receiver that you're interested in. I know there's quite a few in this draft that
Yeah.
have caught a lot of people's eyes.
So there is a few guys on day 2, and I think you'd probably have to trade up into the second round to get them. One of them is Wisconsin defensive lineman Keanu Benton, who I know that you and I have talked about a lot. The other guy that I am very interested in is Washington State linebacker uh, Dayan. How do you say his first name?
Is it Hanley or
It's
Henley?
Henley. It's Henley.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm blanking on how to even pronounce his first name, but he is a guy that when I watched him really popped off.
he's a lot of
Uh,
fun.
and so that'd be somebody I would consider trading up for. It's tough on these PFF mocks because you can't see the draft board at the same time. So you kind of have to have a
An
mental note.
idea.
But
Yeah, and we're watching here to kind of see where they're coming. I think this draft is like pretty heavy in linebacker. I think there's quite a few good linebackers here. I
oh,
do like him quite a bit.
see, that's one right there. If I would have seen the board, I would have pulled the trigger to try and move up. Will McDonald just went at 41.
Yeah. Yeah,
Let's
but
just
that is a lot of capital that, and again, we don't have a ton
right.
to kind of move up from. I think we ended up getting 64, right?
Yeah, 63.
Or
Yep.
63, yes. So we ended up getting 63, but that's going to take quite a bit on top of 63 to get up to that 41 spot.
Anybody you want to try and jump up for right now? The two guys I mentioned are still on the board, and we're about 10 picks away.
Let's let it play out. Let's just kind
All
of see.
right.
I don't want to give up capital if we don't have to.
Okay.
Now, granted, obviously that's the game, right? Or when do we jump? But if we have two guys that we really like, and
Oh, one pick before.
was that Henley?
Henley went one pick
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Well, look at this though. Look at the riches that are here in terms of talent that we potentially are interested in. Andre
Yeah.
Carter arguably has the talent of a first round pick. Now, can the potential be realized? Right. I mean, I think
Late
he's
second
still a
round
little
pick
bit
though. That's a
raw.
that's a place where you can be comfortable
To be
taking.
comfortable taking a risk on a high potential guy, right?
Yes.
Josh Downs, you were telling me that you loved him. Uh,
Yeah.
to tell the people a little bit about that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't watched a whole bunch of Josh Downs, but he's a fast. Well, he is fast, but he's going to be one of those guys that can really take the ball, run after the catchability is through the roof. A lot of suddenness in his route running. Tyler Fornes actually comped him. This may have changed, but to Stephon Diggs a little bit
Oh, okay.
in the way that he runs his routes, just the subtlety and nuance that he has you know to his style of play. So I wouldn't be opposed. I've seen him mocked in the first round there. Nathaniel Tank Dell is a really hot name as well, who was at the Senior Bowl and really turned some heads. I know there's a huge fan base and following for him.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
my only issue with those guys, and again, this is more of just a preference thing. It's nothing against them, is they're both pretty small, right? Like 5'10", 5'9",
yep.
under 190 pounds. I think they're actually both under 180 pounds, I think. I could be wrong there. We'll see what they clock in at here at the combine. But not that that's anything wrong with that. The way the NFL is moving, these kind of guys are able to thrive a bit more. I was hoping that Booty would have fallen because he's a kind of prototypical,
Mm,
6 foot, 190, 195 kind of guy that I'm a fan of. But I saw he went a little earlier, I believe.
I know we
Um,
we already took a corner, but also
yeah,
Garrett Williams here from
big
Syracuse.
fan, big
Uh,
fan.
Yeah, he is you wanna talk about physical corner, he's
Oh
got
yeah,
it.
he's a dog. Yeah.
He's kinda lacks that speed that I think he'd need at this next level, but, I mean, the upside there is gonna
Well,
be
and
through
I
the
mean, and
roof
I don't know
if
if
he
we'll actually
hits.
see him run, right? Because I think he tore his
Right.
ACL mid-year, but that's what the combine's for, right? It's for these guys to kind of solve that question. Now, you got to still put it on tape, right? And just
Yep.
just because you can run in shorts. Yeah, I like that Andre Carter pick just because of the fact that I think
Let's do
he's
it.
just worldly talented, but also Josh Downs there, he's arguably a first round pick, so I don't know why he's still here. So both guys, I think in real life have a chance to go day one. So the fact that they're both here, I'd be happy with either or. I think they're both huge needs. So
Well, how about we do this then? Let's take Andre Carter here, and then we
perfect.
immediately are gonna trade up.
Ooh, you're aggressive. I love it.
Let's go. It's all about going to get your guys.
Go get your guys.
So they're not gonna take 84, will they take 84 and 87? That's maybe too much. Alright, now we're cooking. This is a 78% chance to be accepted.
All right. Let's take a look. Ooh,
We're we're back.
we're right
We're
back in here. We
we're
got
back.
one pick left after this, but we're right back in there.
Hey, man.
Hey, we could trade back. Who knows? Maybe people will be interested.
Yeah. We're in agreement here, though, on Josh Downs?
I just think the talent is just too good to pass up. I don't even think again, here's the issue is I don't think he'll be there in real life, but
No,
it's a mock
not a
draft.
chance.
It's a scenario. You never know. Maybe he has some character issues or something. Hopefully not. From everything actually I've read on him, he's actually been a really, really good kid too. So not really worried about that on him or there's not really too many prospects that I've heard too much on. Granted, we don't have the intel that these NFL execs do. So
God, Nathaniel Dell is still there.
he's fallen, huh? Ooh,
Alright,
Sidney
so
Brown. Ooh,
we've drafted 2 players, uh, wide receiver or wait, we drafted 3
three.
already.
Yeah.
Edge, corner, wide receiver. This is our last pick technically, though we could trade down with the Lions, but that is a far drop
Yikes. Nope.
down to 154, so that's a no-go, on that one. So we're probably rounding out our draft right here. Where do we need to hit? Um,
Well, I mean, again, at this point in time in the draft, right? I mean, you're in the late third. You're just taking guys who are talented. There's your boy Keanu Benton. Again, another scenario where I don't think he's probably there in real life, but who knows? People fall all the time for random reasons. Keanu Benton, extremely talented player,
yeah.
hasn't put it all on film. So I want to see like can he get that consistency? Because when you watch him at the Senior Bowl, you watch some parts of his tape, he pops like insane. It's
Oh,
where's
yeah.
the consistency? It's like the effort, even maybe. Again, I'm not there in his head, so I can't say he's not trying, right? But
I
he's somebody I'm a big fan of. You and I have talked about him quite a bit.
Well, the thing that makes me so excited about him, and he didn't like you said, there's some things that he didn't put on film that I think he's capable of, but one of them is pass rushing ability. Like, he led well, he didn't lead college football, but he was tied for 4th last year in college football with 11, quarterback hits, and so there were instances where he showed that he has that interior pass rush ability, which is so important, and you're gonna hear us continue to talk about it, with free agents and in other draft prospects because it's needed in a Brian Flores scheme. And so that's
Yeah,
what makes me excited about Benton.
well, and the other thing that we got to figure out is like, and again, obviously, we're doing this pre knowing a lot of stuff, right? I think we'll probably find out a lot more by the time we do another mock draft. But is
Mhm.
Dalvin Tomlinson back, right?
Right.
Because if you have Tomlinson and Phillips, I mean Benton, you could definitely add him to the room, and now you have two guys who can really get after the pass or after the quarterback quite well in Tomlinson and him. Um, and then Phillips that run stuffer as well, right?
Yep.
I saw Overshown linebacker is probably going to be a need at some point.
Yep.
Dorian Williams, that's another good player. Ivan Pace, he's definitely a blitzing linebacker. Overshown and Williams are more coverage guys, which again I think you need both in this scheme.
Yeah.
I thought I saw Sidney Brown safety. Now, granted, we have Harrison Smith. We didn't trade him in this scenario. You have Lewis Seen coming back, but Smith isn't going to be here forever.
Yeah.
Sidney Brown is one of my favorite prospects in the whole entire draft. I think he provides he's actually very similar, in my opinion, to a Harrison Smith, where he can go and play over the top. He can go and rush the quarterback. He's good in the box. He's good, up top. He's just a very fun player. So honestly, for me, it's Sidney Brown or Keanu Benton here, just because I love both of them. I'll let you make the final call.
That's tough. That's tough because it's a long-term vision for both selections. Like, you're setting yourself up for the future.
I think Benton's more the now and future, in my opinion, because I think he could beat out like James Lynch and type players. Where Sidney Brown, Lewis Seen's going to be coming back. You already have Cam Bynum. You already have Harrison Smith in this scenario that we're playing out today. My guess is he's probably going to sit a bit. So let's go with Benton. Let's go.
Let's round it out with Benton.
Ugh, Wisconsin, though. Gross.
Hey, man, I'll be curious. So last time we did this draft, as we round this show out, we did not get a good grade. I think we got a B-. So I'll be curious to see what PFF says we did today, because I think we got a lot of good value, especially with our two, I guess not second round picks, but there was the end of the second round and early third.
Yeah.
With Carter and Josh Downs. So we'll see how this.
Yeah, I really like this. I mean, we covered a big need at corner, big need at receiver, big need at D tackle, in my opinion, for the now and future. I think that's more of a future grade there. And then Andre Carter is going to have that ability to sit behind Danielle Hunter, potentially Zadarius Smith in this scenario to really develop. So
we can hang it up, Ryan. No more mock drafts this season.
A+. Wow, look at that. Yeah, we got to retire.
Fucking knock it out of the park. They hate our trades, but they love our picks. I don't know, man.
Well, I don't really love the trades either, I guess, but you gotta go after your guys. You gotta trade back and get what you can for them. So yeah, it's good. It's good. I would be happy if we walked out again. Hopefully, we'd have more picks in this, at least in the later rounds or whatever. But like, if we walked away saying, "Oh wow, we covered these 4 position groups," and with the players that we did, which again, I don't see likely. I don't see Josh Downs lasting that far down there. Banks easily could be there, but Downs and Benton, I don't see either, and probably not even Carter. I don't think any of the 3 of those guys will be there, but who knows? It's the NFL draft and you never know what happens.
Exactly. Well, that'll do it for Vikings Happy Hour pre-combine mock draft. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, as we'll be bringing out content the rest of this offseason, starting later this week with some guys to keep an eye on at the combine, as well as leading into free agent fits for the Minnesota Vikings. So until next time, everybody, Skol Vikings.